Welcome everyone to the Seamless.AI daily product training webinar. We are excited to have you here with us, and in just a few moments we will go ahead and get started with our daily product training. Again, just excited to have everyone here, and before we do jump in, we will get kicked off around 4:04, 4:05. Just like to give a few minutes for everybody to filter in here on this daily group product training. But a couple housekeeping items. So first, here with me on the call, you have David Tull, who is our Director of Customer Success, and I am Jake Phillips, our VP of Product here at Seamless.AI. So between David and myself, we both work collectively together to make sure we're building the best product for our customers, supporting our customers, and helping our customers succeed. David works with the support team, with the success team, and make sure every one of our customers has everything that they need to succeed and to be as fruitful using Seamless and accessing and gathering leads as possible. And a big part of that is properly training and properly understanding how to use the Seamless.ai platform. So David today will actually be taking us through the daily product training. He'll go over some best practices, some tips and tricks, just ways to best use this platform to succeed. And we've modeled this training not necessarily over how we think you should use the platform, because we know every customer and every client is different. We've modeled this over and around how our most successful users have used Seamless to build their pipeline, to exceed revenue goals, and just to access as much of their total addressable market as possible. So today we'll be going through all of those tips and tricks and techniques that we've gathered through working with our customers over the last 2 years and finding out how to best use that. And then I, of course, use all that information, any feedback that we get to propel our product forward and to build the best product for our users. And so the other thing that I wanted to mention too before we jump in is, if you do have any questions going into or during this demonstration, feel free to use that Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. That Q&A button is your best source to get in contact with us as we are going through this product demonstration. You just click that button, it'll open up a text box, and that will then prompt David and myself to provide an answer. David will do his best to make sure he's answering this through the course of the demonstration and trying to answer those in as close to real time as possible. So typically he checks in every once in a while, or I'll chime in and we'll answer a question together. Also, I will oftentimes type back a response as well directly in that Q&A box. Maybe I'll include a link to our help center, to a helpful article. There's hundreds of really helpful articles in our help center, which David will go over and he'll touch on as well in this training. But a lot of great information that we'll cover here, and a lot of great information that's accessible in that help center as well. So use that Q&A button liberally, because we want you to get as much out of this training as you possibly can. So we will try and do our best to share everything in terms of all the valuable knowledge, but we do know there's questions that will come up. So feel free to use that Q&A button, and we will do our best to answer them as thoroughly as we can. So it looks like we're coming up right on 4 after the hour here. So with that said, I'll go ahead and hand it over to my colleague, David. So at this point, David, take it away and we can get started on our demo.
Many thanks, Jake. Really excited to have everybody on today as we head into the end of September, probably the end of Q3 for many of you if you're on that annual calendar like us. So really important time to be closing as much business as you possibly can, going all out to finish the quarter strong, but also building your pipeline as you head into Q4. So we will take the next hour to give you an overview of how to use Seamless.ai on both fronts: how to build lists at scale, research contacts, grow your pipeline, leverage contact intelligence to make sure that you're being smart in how you build your scripts, and how you can connect with real-time data to build relationships with your total addressable market, both at scale and on a one-to-one basis. So we'll look at a couple of different use cases on how Seamless can help you accomplish all of that. As a quick overview, we'll take a look at the in-app search on the site that you see before you here, how to leverage our contact and company search. We'll briefly look at how you can use those together today as well, although we have some enhancements on that front on our product roadmap. We'll also take a look at your account settings so you can review how you can personalize your Seamless.ai account to tie into the rest of your technology stack and build as many efficiency gains as possible. And then we'll take a look at using our Chrome extension which basically allows you to take the power of real-time search through Seamless.AI with you outside of this app. In particular, we'll take a look at the experience using it in LinkedIn Sales Navigator. It is available across LinkedIn's suite of products. That is by far the most popular use case we've seen for the Chrome extension, and the number of case studies and success stories we've had come out of the combination of that tool, Sales Navigator, and our Chrome extension. We've just had customers see incredible success. So as Jake alluded to earlier, we want to show you the technical ins and outs of how to use the product. Along the way, we want to make sure we share what our most successful customers have told us, how they use the product, how they've used it to generate life-changing success for themselves, their organizations, and their teams, because we want you to be able to replicate that success. So we will call out those power user pro tips along the way, in addition to a very basic overview of how everything works and ties together. And we'll also take a quick look at how we're validating the data that we're getting back to you as far as emails, phone numbers, etc. So you can always dive in and make sure you can check out the homework that our multi-step AI validation process is performing for every contact that you save. So that's what we'll cover today. As Jake said, please make liberal use of the Q&A button. And I have a bit of a background in education, so I do have a tendency to try to answer those as we go and weave them into our demo to personalize it for you as much as possible. So I'll keep an eye out for that to see if there are opportunities to weave those answers in. At the very least, we'll leave some time at the end to make sure we cover questions. Worst case scenario, if you give us more than we can handle, we'll make sure to reach out to you and get your questions addressed. After the webinar, if you do have questions moving forward, once you get searching and you need additional support or ideas, or you have some feedback on what could make the platform even more powerful, there are two quick features that I want to call out, since, as Jake said, I head up our customer success operations, so these features are near and dear to my heart. Anytime you have questions, you can hop right down here to the bottom right corner, hit that help icon, and your first line of defense is going to be searching our knowledge base. So you can search all of our articles, user guides, instruction manuals, training videos directly from within the app using this widget. If I want to jump in and get a user guide on how to integrate Salesforce or jump out to HubSpot, that's all easily done from right there within the app. And I can also automatically shoot myself back into the knowledge base proper, where you can more fully browse the different learning paths that we have in place, whether you're just getting started or if you're ready for some advanced search strategies. You can also, if you want to share any on-demand video training with your team or any internal stakeholders, or even if you want to come back and review this training webinar, we post these recordings every single day on a regular basis, so you can always come back and reference your training webinar in case there was a question that you or somebody else on this training session asked that you really want to be able to go back and review. We usually get those posted within 24 to 48 hours. And then, this ranges from pro tips, sales hacks, all the way to how to use the sales data you accumulate once you have it. We have a quick, easy link here to our founder and CEO, Brandon Bernanson's podcast on Sales Secrets from the Top 1%. Twice a week, he's interviewing the top rock star, people in the sales industry on what they're doing today, what their bleeding edge techniques are, so that he can share that with you, and you can take that and leverage it toward the lead data that you're accumulating in Seamless.AI, so you can go out and book more qualified meetings, close more business, and continue to grow your market. So, what do we have in our knowledge base? Anything and everything. On a holistic front, not just how the product works, but the best ways to use it. If you don't find the answer you're looking for, just hit contact us, and you can send our team a ticket. Let us know why you're reaching out. Like I said, you don't have to limit it to whether or not something is working. If you're looking for more help finding more results, more accurate phone numbers, more accurate emails, that's what we're here for. Attach anything you need, videos, pictures, pretty easily done right down there. So yes, never hesitate to reach out to us for support. That's exactly why we're here. We want you to be successful using the platform. And then anytime you just want a quick guide of how to use whatever feature you're on, this tour icon is going to follow you around the site no matter where you go. And if you click on it, it's going to populate a little AI chatbot style tour hosted by Jake, our VP of product. There he is right there. He's very small in this tour, but he's much bigger in real life.
Not
He'll
much
Jake will
bigger,
just walk you
but
through. Not much, but enough just to set expectations.
not
But
too
then
much
Jake can
bigger.
walk you through. Yeah, Jake can walk you through feature by feature, and we'll also set these up to automatically fire anytime we release new features or products or services within the app. You'll see those product tours fire. I always recommend following them all the way to the end to make sure you have a heads up on how to use the features that we're continuing to layer onto this platform as it develops and evolves. So that being said, that's where you can go for support down the line. We want to make sure this conversation keeps going. Yeah, we are continuously optimizing the platform. We're at a stage of growth where our customer base has grown so much, and we've gotten so many valuable conversations going, both on an automated and one-to-one basis with our customers. Giving you opportunities to respond to feedback and setting up strategy calls with clients to learn what can we continue to do to make this platform as effective as possible for you to get your products into the hands of everybody who needs it. Everybody who needs your products and services, right? So that you can tackle your total addressable market using the power of real-time search. The one thing I always call out before any training webinar, whether it's one of these daily sessions or hopping on a call with a client or helping somebody evaluate the product, first thing we always do before diving into the how is to make sure we're being clear about the what. What I mean by that is making sure that we're aware this is not a database. If you've been working in sales as long as we have, or probably longer in many cases, you've been working with database style solutions for lead generation for a while now, right? You know who they are. We know who the leaders in the space are. And you're familiar with their model. They've got the database, and you pay for access, and they're paying for a very, very large manual team who's going in there and calling phone numbers and emailing people, and a lot of overhead goes into that model. In fact, our founder and CEO was using one of those products. Brandon Bernanson was using a database style solution when he was selling for companies like Google and IBM, and was getting frustrated and found that he was not getting to his total addressable market. He was missing people. He was staying up late, doing manual searches, going to company websites, getting on LinkedIn, getting on social media, looking up news articles, trying to find any contact data he could in his off hours so that he could get as many viable contacts into his pipeline as possible. But the more he did it, the more he was able to identify stages in the process that could be automated. So what you see before you actually grew out of a prototype that he built with some developers in his network to vet out the idea that real-time search could be automated as a lead generation tool. And it worked. He became a millionaire selling for Google and IBM using that version of the platform. And then, over the course of the past 5 years, we've built it into what you see today. To make sure that everybody in sales has access to this, that everybody in sales has access to real-time search data. So this is not a database, it's a search engine. It is working with real-time data for contacts and companies, pulling it in and helping you save and organize those contacts for future use, and validating them to make sure they're as up-to-date as possible. So you're not going to deal with some of the pitfalls you see in a database style solution where you have to wait 4 months for a contact to be updated if they change from one job to another. As soon as that change is represented in their digital footprint, we're going to represent it here. So that is worth bearing in mind. This is a search engine, not a database. For every single feature that we look at, we'll make sure to call out what differentiates it and why that's important to remember, particularly when we're working through the contact search and the company search. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into how this works to give you a demonstration here. So if I want to follow the prompt there and enter in Nike as the company, I also have filters available when I'm looking for contacts at a title, keyword, and name level. Now I want to take a moment to talk about name because it's one of those power user pro tips that could benefit you and your organization. This does mean that you can look up an individual contact by name at a company if there's a particular person you're trying to target. But one of the ways our customers use this and have used it with great success, in addition to building large lists at scale for call and email campaigns, we have clients who send out dedicated teams to trade shows, conferences. They're out on the floor working a booth, right? You might have a team like that yourself. But we have customers who provide Seamless.AI unlimited licenses exclusively to that team, and they do most of their work right here in this names field, because as they're getting names thrown across them at a booth, they're not always getting a business card, they're not always getting that LinkedIn connection. They need to move fast. So they will actually have access to this platform to plug in those names and get their contact information right off the bat and make sure nobody falls through the cracks. So a thought out there, if you have teams that are working along those lines, could be worth exploring getting them access to this tool on either a free or unlimited license, depending on how much use they would have for it. But at the title and keyword level, these are also pretty self-explanatory, but part of the benefit is you can enter in multiple titles at a time, multiple keywords at a time. And in this sample search, I'm also going to demonstrate another power user behavior that people have shared with us that they weren't quite expecting to adopt when they started using the product. Some people started to cast a wider net than they had previously. If you'd only been looking at the C-suite before, right? A lot of our customers started to say, well, why don't I also search for VPs? Why don't I also search for directors? Started to expand upon their own parameters. The reason they started to do that is because they were able to break out of some of the assumed ingrained behaviors that come from working in a database style solution. In those products, at least the way many of them work, if you're paying your way up the organizational ladder and you have to be cost conscious when it comes to how many contacts you download and how high up the organizational ladder they are, and you're going to use up all of your credits on a CEO or all of your budget on it, whatever, you do have to be more conscious of how many of these filters you deploy. That's not the way our platform works. We've democratized the data so you can search for all three of these titles and more and cast a wide net. That way, you're providing you and your team with as many opportunities to book qualified meetings and close business as possible, so that if the director or VP is an influencer or even a decision maker, why not cast a wider net for those contacts? The way our platform works, you're not going to pay any more for it if you're on a Seamless.AI unlimited license. There's no reason not to include those contacts. Now, obviously, if you're organizational structure, you might have some business rules in place that require targeting certain titles, etc. But I'm just sharing that because it is something that our users and customers have changed about the way they search based on the power of real-time data being at their disposal. Keywords can take you even broader. So if I want to find people who have marketing somewhere in their digital footprint outside of their title, that's what I can do with the keyword too. So cast a wide net, whether it's at a title level or at a keyword level, because you have every reason to bring in as many contacts as you possibly can, whether you're searching within the app or using our Chrome extension, which we will take a look at here later in the demo. I'm going to go ahead and run this search so we can move on to what you see next in this stage of the process. So as you can see, Seamless has gone out and found potential contacts that match my parameters, and I can start to find these contacts and save them to my contacts right up here so I can import them into my CRM or export them into a CSV, whatever I'm doing to take next steps. Now, I know how badly you want this contact data. So I know it's tempting to start to dink and dunk your way through and say, oh, I want to see JC's, I want to see Mark's, I want to see Vlad's, I want to see Karen's, right? What I would recommend is doing something else first before you find any of these contacts. You don't have to, but I recommend it as, again, one of those pro tips that helps our users stay organized and help them drive efficiencies while building lists at scale. Right up here, if you're new to Seamless.ai, this is what this widget is going to say. It's going to say set default list. So when you click on this, you'll have the opportunity to create a list that you can add these contacts to keep them saved and organized later. I already have a Nike list here that I'm just going to add these guys to, so that as you are accumulating leads within certain parameters, you can go ahead and add them to a list. And when you hit find or find all, they're automatically going to populate there. And I'll show you exactly where that's going to benefit you as we move into the My Contact section of the demo. But this is the moment when you're going to want to pick a list before you hit find or find all. What I would recommend doing if you're new to the platform, come in here, identify what 5 or 6 campaigns you're going to be running over the next quarter, get those lists saved so you can document for yourself what are the buckets I'm trying to fill, right? So I've got that list in place. I'm going to go ahead and click Find All so you can see what happens next. So now these leads are being researched with real-time data, and Seamless.ai is pulling back email addresses, company phone, contact phone, location, contact intelligence on their social media profiles, etc. And as I head over into my contacts where these are being stored, you can also see that same data coming through here. And the experience is a little bit different on this side, right? I have some filters that I can use that'll show me if I just want to look at contact phones, that's something I can do. So when you're in my contacts, once a contact is saved, that's where you can perform some of this filtering if you're looking to get a sense of how many you've got saved so far. It's also where you're going to find a count. So this is a count of all of the contacts I've got saved with a contact phone stored. You won't see that on the search side. People ask about that sometimes and say, where's the count? How do I know how many are in this search? Well, the thing is, we're running this search again in real time every time you hit this next button right down here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next, and we're going to run the search again. We're going to bring back more contacts. Now I'm going to hit find all again to bring these contacts into my Nike DMs list. This is another power user behavior. If you find yourself hitting next and find all in rapid succession, you're doing something right. That way you're having confidence in the parameters you've set, and you're going out and you're building a list at scale that's going to help you reach out to as many of these folks as possible, however you're doing it. So let's take a look here. I'm going to jump into some of what's available to you once a contact is saved, whether you're in the search or in my contacts. You can click on any of these email addresses to get a view of what we're doing. In case you're wondering, where are you getting this data? Where's it coming from? How are you validating it? This is a great place to answer those questions. And like I mentioned earlier, you can hit this little guided tour. And here comes Jake. Jake will walk you through each component of our multi-step AI validation process to make sure you know how it all works. You can also hover over to get more information as well. At a high level, what's happening here is we are vetting multiple sources across the web to take as much as we can from each client's digital footprint and source back to you what the most likely contact information is going to be and what degree of confidence and certainty we have in it. As you can see over here, we got a total AI score for each one of these contacts. So we're always going to recommend what comes up first. On the email front, we're even sending a virtual email to Nike.com server for marcus.wade@nike.com to see what response we get back. And if we get a response back from the server saying, yes, that email is valid, we're going to send that back into you in addition to the AI score and count that you get here. So as you can see, these emails we found as part of that real-time search, they were out there, but they're not valid. So we're making sure you're armed with that knowledge. So this is always a good place to go if you're looking for a little more intel on where this data is being sourced and what level of confidence you should have in it. Taking a look at a couple of other pieces here. As I mentioned earlier, we're pulling in company phone, contact phone data when we have it. And then over in this column, you'll see contact intelligence features. Now, as you can probably guess from right here, you can jump into someone's LinkedIn profile, Facebook profile, Twitter. We will take a look at our CRM integrations here toward the middle of the demo to make sure you know how those work. Right now, what I'll show you is that if I click on this cloud, it's going to automatically add this contact to Salesforce for me. Although in this particular case, it won't because I already have that contact saved. Our CRM integrations come with account duplication checking. So it's letting me know that this contact already exists in my CRM. So we have that already enabled on your behalf. We'll take a closer look at those settings in just a moment here. But first, I want to look at one more feature on the Intel side, and that's contact intelligence. This is another great resource if you're asking yourself, where are you getting all this information? This is pretty representative of all of the different resources we're leveraging to get you information on contacts and companies through real-time search. It's also a great resource for anybody on your team who's doing any one-to-one script building. Like if you have an SDR who's going to be calling Carl, our team will hop right into this section. They'll pull open Carl's LinkedIn, they'll look at his Facebook, his Twitter, they'll be able to look at some company news on Nike in general. What are their financials looking like? What kind of paid search intelligence can we find? Advertising intelligence, employee reviews, website grader, anything and everything that we can get at your fingertips so that when your team picks up the phone and cold calls Carl, they know who he is. And Carl will hear that they know who he is. And he'll respect that they did the work to figure out what he values and what he's interested in and why your products and services are going to change his life. This is a quick place where all of that is pulled together for you and your team to leverage. Now, I want you to remember this section when we look at mapping into CRMs like Salesforce and HubSpot, because it's going to be relevant to what we can do once we get to that area. But back over here in my contacts. So I've got these contacts saved, and as you can see, I can import them to Salesforce one-to-one. But if I want to export these contacts, right, if I'm going to just straight up get them into a spreadsheet and work with it from there, that's something you can definitely do. What I recommend doing, especially if you have these contact lists in place, is doing it one list at a time. That way you're keeping your lists organized and you're prioritizing each one according to the next and making sure that you're tracking which of your lists is working for you. Having the opportunity to manage and track multiple lists is going to help you figure out which is the one that's going to change my life? What list is going to help take me to the next level, right? So when downloading, if I just want to download the Nike contacts that I've accumulated so far in this demo, I can click that list right here after hitting that filter. I can go down here and hit apply. And now I'm only looking at contacts that are on that list. Now from here, I can download those contacts directly into a CSV. If I hit download filtered clean or download filtered raw, it's only going to give me the Nike DM contacts. Download all will give me every contact that I currently have saved on my account. We do get questions sometimes about the difference between clean and raw, and we have some knowledge-based content available on that, which you can access in the Help Center. But again, at a very high level, most of our customers use the clean file. That's still going to give you a couple of dozen columns of data, more than you probably need. The raw data file is going to give you everything we found. Remember when I had that contact data widget open earlier, and you were looking at all the different email addresses and all the different phone numbers we found, regardless of what kind of validation or score they got through our multi-step process? Well, all of that will be in the raw file. The only customers we have who use that in general are the ones who are the really dedicated data hounds. Maybe you have some additional validation processes or technologies on your end that you want to run that data through. You're welcome to it. We make it available, right? Most of our customers use the download filter data. But all I have to do is click on that, and it's going to download an Excel file right here in my browser that I can take and manipulate and slice and dice. But we do recommend using some of these filters before you do that. You know, if you already have some rules for your campaigns, if you're just going to be doing contact phone, if you're just going to be doing validated email, you can do that before you even download. And we are looking at adding more options, making more opportunities available for you to segment this data before you download it as well. So that's if you're going to get a spreadsheet, right? Like at the very least, we want to make sure you can get this data out of here in a consumable fashion so you can take it into the next step of your sales process. However, we also would love to try to make it as easy on you as possible to avoid downloading it into a spreadsheet, which is why we do have native integrations in place with multiple products, including Salesforce. So if I have my Salesforce integration installed, we'll take a look at how you do that in just a moment. But I want to just quickly show you how you can import multiple contacts if you don't have it turned on to automatically import. So if I'm looking through these contacts and I decide, all right, I think I'm ready to get these forward to my next cadence, right? I can click each one and then head over here to import. From here, I can import selected, and that will just send over those 4 contacts into my Salesforce instance. I could also hit import filtered, and that would send over everybody on this Nike DMs list. Or I can hit import all, and that will import all of my contacts, again, with the duplication process and check to make sure that you're not sending over any duplicate information and muddying the waters of Salesforce. So those are some ways you can do it. I actually recommend, if it's conducive to your business operations, to have this turned on to automatically import these contacts. Because again, that's where a lot of our customers have come back to us and said, this is just generating so many efficiencies for me to be able to work in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, use your Chrome extension, find a contact, have it come into Seamless, get validated, have it automatically go into Salesforce, and then from Salesforce, we're having it automatically pop into a call campaign through SalesLoft or whatever is the next step in the process, right? We want to make sure it ties into as much as possible. So let's take a look at how you can get those CRM integrations set up. So I'm going to go here into settings. I'll give you a quick overview of what you can do within here at a high level. You can take a quick tour. This is going to automatically take you into our knowledge base, into the Seamless 101 learning path. So you can go through basic setup and get everything in place that you need. Add to Google Chrome. This will take you to the Google Chrome store where you can download our Chrome extension. If you don't have the Chrome extension installed, don't even wait until this webinar is over. Go right now into your account and download it into your Chrome browser. It is by far our most popular feature. It has changed customers' lives, and it's about to get even better. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but we do have some features in testing right now that'll help us expand on its capabilities even more. So make sure you get after it now. At the very least, you want to be able to have it when you're in LinkedIn or its suite of products to get contacts into Seamless much more quickly. And then finally, add to CRM. So we have integrations directly with Salesforce, HubSpot, and Outreach. And then we also are within Zapier's ecosystem. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment. If you let's right now have the Salesforce integration installed. All you have to do to get these up and running is to click right there. And then I also have a HubSpot integration that I can deploy here. And then once I let this go through, it's a one-click integration. And all I have to do is enter my credentials, and I'm going to automatically have everything in place. Good. CRM is now added. Perfect. Okay, so that's how you get the integration going. From there, you want to make sure everything is set up to fire correctly into your CRM. So over here in CRM setup, this is where you can configure your settings, including that automatic import. So this is, again, one of those ways, whether you're at HubSpot or Salesforce or Outreach, you can automatically have your leads import directly into your CRM from here. I have a couple of other settings you can configure as well, whether you want to override existing data, etc. But then the real money is down here in the mappings. This is where you can customize exactly how this data is going to roll over into your CRM. And the experience with the Salesforce and Outreach integrations are very similar to what you see here. I asked you to remember the contact intelligence section because those are fields that you can import over into your CRM. You can also import company data for a contact, email validation statuses. But yeah, if you want local sports teams or weather or location or LinkedIn profile, all of these are fields that you can map over. And then once we have that one-click integration installed, it's going to automatically populate all of your HubSpot, Salesforce, or Outreach fields. So probably a good idea to get this mapping sorted out, run a couple of tests, and then turn on the automatic import because it is going to help generate a lot of efficiencies. But we make sure that you can configure that for yourself. In addition, we give you the option to use either organizational settings or personal settings. Most of our company customers that are set up to have multiple folks across their team using the tool are using organizational settings, right? They want to set up for consistency's sake, so everybody's using it in the same way. So usually what we see happen, but you could see some use cases where personal settings can be valuable, so we make that option available to you. All right. So again, Salesforce, HubSpot, and Outreach are our current integrations. If I pop over here to connected apps, I know I don't need to save the changes. This is where you can continue to keep track of all of the integrations we're adding over time. We do now have people on our development team dedicated to integrations, and they're going to keep working through a product roadmap of other vendors and technology partners out there in the sales space to make this as comprehensive as possible. We're currently eyeing up SalesLoft and some other CRMs like Zoho and Pipedrive as next steps. In the meantime, if you're not familiar with Zapier, I would recommend creating an account if you're looking to tie your sales data from Seamless into more technology products. If you click on that, it's going to introduce you to our beta program with Zapier, and from within there, you're going to be able to build automations that send your data into other programs. And Zapier is great at building it out, so you don't have to write a line of code. You don't have to know anything about API connections. All you have to do is they'll walk you through the process step by step. They've already got the data patterns built out. You're basically choosing your own adventure, deciding what you want to happen next. So if you want an email to fire from Gmail, like a canned response to fire to every single contact you save to Seamless.AI, Zapier can do that. If you want them to be stored to a campaign in MailChimp automatically, Zapier can do that. If you want them to be automatically added to a call list for SalesLoft or Mojo, Zapier can do that for you. Zoho is one of their partners. Almost anything you can imagine is built into their ecosystem. So they're not direct integrations, but they're ways to automate your data flow so that you have actions triggering from these technology products as soon as you save this data into Seamless.ai. So worth giving a look. For what it's worth, we have a lot of our processes run through Zapier internally as well. We also have some use cases in our knowledge base on how to connect different platforms to kind of give you a leg up. So you can always feel free to reach out to us for more information on that as well. We are Zapier customers ourselves, so we can show you around a little bit. All right, taking a little breath here to see if any questions are coming in. Nothing yet, which is fine, but a reminder that Q&A is there if there's anything you want to make sure we cover. I'm going to jump into one other feature here in your settings that you can use to personalize your experience. It's relatively new, but I want to make sure you have it on your radar. So you'll see this little gong up here, and you've probably been wondering the whole time I've been running the demo. Now, what exactly is that? You'll also see this percentage start to increase as I save more contact data. What we've built in here is basically a way for you and every user on Seamless.ai to set your own salary and go after your own goals, right? And now this isn't meant to be a system of record for your organization. This is designed for end users as a way for you to define what you want to accomplish in a given year and then to make it easy for you to track your daily, weekly, monthly goals as far as lead generation and pipeline building to make sure you're on track. So the way it works, set up your annual sales commission goal. Maybe I want to get even more aggressive. And you probably just heard a gong ring in our office. That's pretty much why we designed this. Internally, our team uses tools like this to set their own sales commission, enter in what their average commission rate will be, set up your booked appointment conversion rate and your closed won conversion rate from booked appointments. And then from there, we'll tell you how many leads you have to save per day to stay on track to your goal. But we'll also give you the opportunity to 10x that goal and get super aggressive on it, so you can hold yourself even more accountable and see how much you can really accomplish. We recommend doing this because we know a lot of users are hitting this 5x, this 10x. It's getting more and more popular in this space to really set aggressive goals and push yourself to get as much in here as you possibly can when it comes to building pipeline, booking appointments, and closing business. So this is our way to make sure you can set your own goals. Obviously, we track usage, we track engagement. We want to make sure people are using the platform. We also wanted to give you a chance to share with us what your goals are. What's your target engagement, right? It's going to be different for everybody. So this is your chance to personalize it and make sure that's set up for you so that when you log in and when you look at your daily goals, it's in line with what you're trying to accomplish and with the expectations within your organization. And then every time you close a deal or book a meeting, you can pop right up here to the gong, give it a hit with your mouse. We're going to make it rain. We're going to get you a nice little gift. And we're going to give you an opportunity to get some social proof out there. So you'll have an opportunity to share the business that you closed and the meeting that you booked with your network. That's going to increase your value add across your network as somebody who's out there getting things done, making effective moves for your company. But it's also going to create that social proof for your audience to let people know, hey, look, I see that people are buying this product. I see they're having success, right? So we make that easy for you to quickly share that social proof. And then from here, you can track leads daily. And one thing we are looking to roll out before too long is an organizational version of this. So if you want to look at this data across just your team or your company, that should be rolling out soon. But in the meantime, definitely worth coming in here and setting some goals for yourself so you can track them on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I'm excited about the team addition to that, David, because I know inciting a little bit of competition internally, especially in the sales side of things, never hurts. We have a lot of that internal competition here, so that's going to be live very shortly. We're really excited for our customers to be able to use that internally within their own organizations. But one other little tidbit too that I wanted to mention is if you want to use that gong and celebrate with the community, one other thing we kind of baked in there as a little secret is anytime you share that out, that actually shares out not just a link to Seamless, but your personal affiliate link to Seamless. And so what that means is that anytime somebody clicks back through, that is going to track back into your account. So if somebody comes back and says, hey, that's pretty cool, I'm going to try Seamless, and then they end up upgrading and buying an annual license with Seamless, you actually will get paid out for just simply sharing that gong or sharing that celebration moment. So feel free to share that out, and we want to make sure that you get rewarded for it as well. So come in here, go into your affiliate portal. They're set up with every account ready to go. You simply just have to provide us with the way to pay, and we'll make sure that we're tracking against all of your users that sign up anytime you use any of these affiliate links. So really easy way to make a little bit of extra side money. We have people who are making hundreds and some who are making thousands of dollars in a month just sharing out this information. So wanted to just add that in there as well. That gong actually has a little hidden link that goes right back to your affiliate center, to track that for you.
That's a great pro tip, Jake. I'm glad you called that out. Yeah, if you guys go in here and get this set up, that's going to be a great way to share that and then continue to grow your network, share the love, make sure that you're getting a little bit of credit for that as you help spread the good word about Seamless.AI. Perfect. A couple of other features here in your settings to call attention to. User management. If you're part of a larger organization and you're going to be adding people to your team, you can centralize your organizational structure in Seamless here by inviting new members, and then you're able to invite them one at a time, add many at once. And from within this as well, you can add licenses if people on your team are going to start searching along with you with the Seamless.AI Unlimited license. So This is where you can come for an overview of who's already part of your organization, how do I add people, how do I upgrade to more licenses, etc. And we do offer tiered pricing once you get above 10 licenses, so you can start getting into some preferred pricing there. And as far as the rest of that goes, yeah, we look briefly at the goal tracking. As Jake pointed out, we're going to work on an organizational version of this so that you're not just looking at the global version, but you're also looking at your individual team to create a little bit of that healthy competition. And then we'll also provide pro tips as you track your progress toward your own goals. This is where you can come to see what else you can do to get closer to achieving your goals. Just like when you go into a credit score application, it's not just showing you your score, it's showing you what you can do to improve it, right? Same thing here. We're going to let you know what else you can do to keep marching toward your goal and get your pipeline full. And then as you've noticed down here at the bottom, every time that gong goes off, right, you're seeing these notifications pop up. You do have an option to turn those off. I'd recommend leaving them on, just as that extra reminder that every time you feel like going up to get a cup of coffee or leaving work a little early or checking in with your friend or going to Facebook, somebody else is closing business. Somebody else is downloading more leads. Somebody else is booking more meetings. So just not bad to have there as that little psychological bug in your ear to make sure you stay focused after your goals as well. But yeah, those are the ways that you can personalize your account, both in terms of setting your own goals and going after your own salary, connecting the apps that'll help you build efficiencies, and then making sure that the rest of your team and your network are connected through the user management and affiliate referral sections. Jumping back into search, because there are some additional features we want to check out in here, right? Let's take a look at the company search and how that works, and then we'll also jump into how to use the Chrome extension. There's one feature in My Contacts we didn't look at yet. It's relatively new as well, and it's the recommendations engine. So when I click on recommendations, it's going to take me into leads that Seamless.AI has found by working in the background based on my previous search history. So these have all accumulated here. The more I've searched, the more of them will pop up. And they'll be based on my previous searches. So based on searches I was performing before for different technology companies, Seamless is now telling me, hey, you should look for these decision makers at some of these organizations that we found right here as well. If you want to add those to your contacts, all you have to do is click save, and it's going to automatically populate back into your saved contacts over here, go through our validation process again, and then you can add it to a lead list as well, and then integrate it into Salesforce. All right, get that going too. All right, so let's take a look at the company search here, because you'll see a different set of filters available than you do in the contact search. These are two different searches, right? They're set up as part of the same UI UX, but it's worth remembering that they're two different searches with their own filters. So when you're in the company search, if you're working named accounts, and that's actually more or less how our founder, Brandon Bernanson, built his career, he would build a list of companies and start targeting them over a period of time. So we give you the ability to do that if you're looking for, let's say, computer and network, or let's go with commercial real estate, right? If I'm looking for commercial real estate, I can also pick revenue levels or employee headcount. Get a few filters going there. I can also look at different locations. So if I just want to look in the US, I can do that. If I want to expand into a particular state, I can also do that. And I can even narrow it down to specific regions or areas at a state level or a local level too. But if I go ahead and run this search, Seamless is going to bring back companies that match those parameters, that employee headcount, industry, and geographic location. And then from here, I can add companies to a list that I can save and run through later. If you're looking to get the people at these companies, there is a way to do that within the app. And I'll show you how to do it. So if you keep your eye over here on my Find Contacts, I'm going to go over here to the right, and I'm going to hit Select All. Now, when I do that, we've automatically added the first 10 companies on that list as filters for the contact search. And then from here, I can go ahead and enter in whatever keywords I'm looking for, find some folks. I'm going to go ahead and hit search. And that's how I can find people at those companies. So that way you can build a big list of companies, work through them 10 at a time, find the right people, add them to a lead list as you go, just like you would in the contact search, right? Now, one thing I'll call out, though, if you have as some of your set parameters, if you're looking for contacts by industry, if you're looking for contacts by company headcount, if you're looking for contacts by geography, if you really want to work within the app, this is the way you can do it. You can set up those company lists and then add them 10 at a time over here. We're working on a way to streamline that so that you can, run through more companies on more of an automated basis. We're going to work that out. I'll be honest, most of our customers who have set up their parameters in that way and know that's how they're going to target their contacts, they're not doing it this way. They're using a different set of tools that are still available to you. They're using LinkedIn suite of products, and they're using our Chrome extension. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Sales Navigator to show you exactly how this works. Although, let me quickly backtrack. If you ever do just want to pop a search into LinkedIn, all you have to do is hit social, and that'll activate our social search, take you directly into LinkedIn with those parameters so you can find these contacts. And then from here, there's my messages. You'll see if I have the Chrome extension installed, the find all features, the find features, the list building, it's all going to be right there for you. So I can actually add a new list here, and this is in LinkedIn Standard, right? I can add a new list, and I can start to find these contacts, and that's going to automatically update back here my Seamless.AI account and make sure they're added to the correct list. Now, that works in LinkedIn. It works in LinkedIn Standard. It works at a profile page level. So if I'm on somebody's page and I want to get them added in, I can do that as well. If they're already in my Seamless.ai account, I'll see that they're already added. If they're not, I'll see the find button. I'll quickly show you what that looks like, just so you can check it out. So here's Siler, don't have him yet. So I can find him from here too. So this is great, right? You can have these parameters set, hop into LinkedIn and run the search using social. If you have LinkedIn Sales Navigator already in your product suite, though, you are set up to follow the same path that really our most successful customers have. If you don't have Sales Navigator, they do offer a 30-day free trial for you to check it out. And that gives you access to some very robust filters that Sales Navigator provides for you to target populations of contacts. So if I'm being honest too, this is how we run our searches for our sales and marketing. We use Sales Navigator, and we'll use these filters here to narrow down our target lists and start to build them out. We have some customers at LinkedIn. We think they have some great products. They're good partners. They're great people, but we're not directly affiliated or anything. So we're only telling you this because other customers have come back to us and said, wow, this was amazing. I have yet to have a customer come back and say, that if they started a 30-day free trial of Sales Navigator and used our Chrome extension, every single one of them has come back and said that was amazing. We're gonna invest in Sales Navigator and get that to our team too. It becomes kind of a no-brainer from an ROI standpoint. So if you already have it, you can jump right in and start working. And if you don't, I would recommend giving it a shot with that 30-day free trial and see what kind of results you get and see if it justifies getting a license there too, if these are the kind of searches that you're running. Again, the benefit comes if you are targeting geographically or by industry and you want an efficient way to search. So as you can see, Sales Navigator offers you the opportunity to filter by geography, company name, relationship, industry. Unlike, we're a search engine, they are a database. We've given tons of information to LinkedIn, right? So, and they've made us put it in such a way that it's easy to slice and dice it in tools like this to narrow down your list. On our end, when this data gets pulled in, we're performing the same validation that we do when you're searching right here from within the app. So if somebody's information is outdated on LinkedIn, you're not going to be just reliant, and we're not taking any outdated data from LinkedIn or anything like that. We're just using it as a platform to source publicly available data and get it back to you into Seamless.ai so we can validate it and make sure you're on the right track. But yeah, I can go ahead and get another search going here. Real estate, and I'm going to show you again what our power users do in this platform. We'll add a list, and then just like in the app, we'll hit find all, right? Now that's going to create a lazy scroll effect. It'll take me all the way down this page in Sales Navigator. And then all the way back up. And then once it does, I hop back in here and all of these contacts are being researched. And the same validation is being performed, just like I said. So if I pop this open, I'm going to be able to see what kind of response we get back on this multi-step process. Good, I got a valid email, getting good numbers on the phone numbers as well. You may, and I'm going to try to find one for us here, sometimes see emails that say accept all. So if you see that, that means we didn't get a firm valid one way or the other when that email address pinged back, but we're still able to score it against the rest of these attributes. So we do provide that information to make sure you have access to it. A lot of our customers treat a valid and accept all as virtually the same. as they're building out their email campaigns, but some treat them differently. Just to make sure we're calling that out for you so you understand what that means if you come across it. But the same thing that we did in the app, right? If you find yourself hitting next and find all in rapid succession, you're doing something right. This is exactly how we build our lists. And then once I hit find all, it's going to take me down the page or take me back up. We do recommend having the app open in the background while you're running this in Sales Navigator. And we have also had people ask us, hey, is there any way to skip over the next button? One of the biggest reasons we don't do that is we want to make sure we remain within LinkedIn's terms of service. And if I have seen some apps that do take you from page to page, and that gets flagged as LinkedIn, it gets you kind of in LinkedIn jail for a little bit of time. We don't want that to happen to you. So that's why we've built the tool the way we have, to make you hit that next button and remind LinkedIn that you are a human being using the platform, and keep all of us in their good graces. But yeah, all this information is being sourced back over. A couple of other features to call out here. So if you're bought in and you say, hey, I'm going to try this out, I'm going to work in Sales Navigator and start using the Chrome extension, one thing we'll recommend is to make sure you get this total number of results down to about 1,000. The reason why, right? It's showing me that there are 20,000 contacts out there that I can get. However, if I just keep rolling right now, I'm only going to get to about page 11 or 12 before LinkedIn says, okay, that's enough. You viewed enough pages today, David. Go ahead and slow down. You can come back tomorrow, right? But I'm not going to know where I left off. So to anticipate that, knowing that that's how LinkedIn is going to behave, what we recommend doing is finding a filter that gets you to about 1,000 and then working from there. So use these filters to make sure you get that number to about 1,000 contacts, and that's going to be a good way to make sure that you're playing it safe within LinkedIn's behavior. And as you hit next and find all, that's going to help you build out this list. So definitely worth bearing in mind, right? A few other notes. This Chrome extension also layers over LinkedIn Recruiter. And if you have any lead lists in place, I don't have too many on my end, but if you do have lead lists, you can use the Find All feature here as well, and it'll show you whether or not they're already added. One of the benefits of creating a lead list and then running Find All is that once these are saved in my Sales Navigator account, I'll get notifications if they post anything or if anything changes. So that can be useful as well. So totally up to you on how you want to run it. But we make it available on that feature too, in case that's something you want to leverage. All right. So I'm going to just jump back into the app here to quickly demonstrate to you. See, all of these contacts are being saved. They're all being added to that real estate list. I can import them to my Salesforce without any issue. Very cool. Okay, everybody, we're at about 4:52. That covers all of the content that we were planning to review today to make sure you had everything you need on how to use the platform, how to start building out your lead lists, growing your pipeline, finding some meetings that you can book, some business you can close here in the last few days of September, the last few days of Q3, and making sure that you're building your pipeline heading into Q4. So I'm going to take a breath here, see if we do have any last questions come in. It's okay if there aren't any. I'm going to take another look. All right. Well, like we said, as questions come up, please reach out to us. Send our team a message. Let us know how we can help. But otherwise, I will let you go a little bit early on the condition that each and every one of you hops into Seamless right now and starts building your pipeline. Whatever your situation is right now, if you're closing out Q3, you're trying to finish strong, you're trying to get out there and make sure you make the most of it, to leave nothing on the table before you head into Q4. Definitely get out there and do that. At the same time, depending on what industry you're in, you might be heading into some lean months. I know the Q4 can be tough for some industries, right? Especially November, December. So this is the more important time than ever to make sure you're building out that pipeline and getting yourself prepped to have as packed a Q4 as you possibly can. So don't waste any time. Get in here right now. Start building the list. It's going to change your life and getting your products and services into the hands of people whose lives are going to be changed forever by what you have to offer. So thank you for attending today's webinar. We're excited to be partnering with you, and we can't wait to see what you're able to accomplish using Seamless.AI. Thanks, everyone.